Hello. Today's goal is we are going to take and work with exponents and rational numbers. You have 4 things that you need to be responsible for. 1, knowing the vocabulary. 2, being able to evaluate the expression. 3, being able to evaluate using substitution. And last, being able to write numbers in exponential form. Make sure you have your notes page ready. Let's start with the terminology you need to know. We've worked with exponents before this year, but to review, this is 3 to the 5th power. The 3 is known as the base. The base is the number being multiplied repeatedly. When we use exponents, exponents represent repeated multiplication. Repeated multiplication. So again, the base is the number that's being multiplied repeatedly, and the exponent is going to tell you how many times to multiply the base. 3 to the 5th power means 3 times 3 times 3 times 3 times 3. It does not mean 3 times 5. Next, you're going to be asked to evaluate expressions. So I have some examples that we're going to work through together. The first one is 4 to the 3rd power, also known as 4 cubed. So to solve this one, this means we take the base, and the exponent 3 tells us to multiply 4 3 times. So 4 times 4 times 4. Well, 4 times 4 is 16, and 16 times 4 is 64. So 4 to the 3rd power is 64. Here we have a negative 6 to the 2nd power, or a negative 6 squared. So this means take negative 6 times negative 6. Well, a negative 6 times a negative 6 is going to give me a positive 36, because we know that same signs are positive when we multiply. Now I'm going to bring in some of my knowledge of rational numbers. Here I have 3/8 squared, or 3/8 to the 2nd power. So I'm going to take this fraction, 3/8, I'm going to multiply it. So I have 2 of them, 3/8 times 3/8. We know with multiplying rational numbers, we just multiply across. 3 times 3 is 9. 8 times 8 is 64. And then I'm going to check if I can simplify, and I can't. So the answer is 9 over 64. Here's 2 more problems that may look a little more complicated. This time I have 1/3 to the 3rd power, but there's a negative sign on the outside. So what I want to do to start is I want to just hold on to that negative side, and I want to focus on 1/3 to the 3rd power. So that means 1/3 times 1/3 times 1/3. Multiplying, I can just multiply across. 1 times 1 times 1 is 1. 3 times 3 is 9. Times 3 is 27. Now I'm going to go back here. This negative sign on the outside parentheses I can think of as a -1. So -1 times whatever this equals, -1 times this would be a negative one of these, a -1 over 27. Next, I have a -2 cubed times a -4. In our order of operations, we always solve the exponents first. So I'm going to go over here, and I'm going to solve a -2 3 times. So -2 times -2 times -2. -2 times -2 would be a positive 4. A positive 4 times -2 would be a -8. So this over here equals -8. Then I'm going to multiply it by my -4. -8 times -4 is going to equal a positive 32. So when you see problems like this, just take them one step at a time. The other thing that you're going to need to do is you're going to need to evaluate expressions that have variables in them. Remember, variables are letters that stand for numbers. In this case, they're telling me what the letters stand for. A is going to equal to -2 anytime I see A, B a 3, and C a -4. What I'm going to do then is I'm going to substitute for the variable, and then I'm going to solve. Because A equals a -2, the first thing I'm going to do is I'm just going to rewrite the problem with my substitution. That would be a -2 squared. And I would solve like normal. -2 times -2 is going to be a +4. So in this case, A squared equals a +4. Here I'm adding a step. I have a -2 times B to the 3rd power. Well, the first thing I want to handle is substituting for B, which is going to be 3. So I'm going to rewrite this, -2 times 3 to the 3rd power. Don't skip this step because it's going to help you in the long run. In my order of operations, it tells me to solve my exponents first. So I'm going to focus on this. That's going to be 3 times 3 times 3, which is 9 times 3. So that's going to give me 27. So now my new problem is -2 times 27. -2 times 27, well, because I have different signs, I know my answer is going to be negative. And then 2 times 27, I believe, is 54. So I would just multiply that out. And I get 54. The last problem that you see here is a substitution problem that has 3 different variables. So, step 1, substitute for my numbers. A is a -2. Now, AB means A times B. So, I'm going to put parentheses to show times. B is 3, and C is a -4. Okay, I'm going to solve it. -2 times 3, different signs, means it's going to be negative. 2 times 3 is 6, -4. In this case, I have a -6 divided by a -4. So, I'm going to divide. Since I am dividing and I have same signs, my answer is going to be positive. You get 1 4 out of there. And I'm left with 2. So that's going to be 1 2/4. And 2/4 can be simplified to 1/2. So 1 1/2. The last step that we have is going to be able to write in exponential form. So this might be a review for you. To write in exponential form, I'm going to break a number down into its exponents. So maybe you remember from last year your factor trees. What you do is you branch off the 16 and you think of 2 numbers that give you 16 that aren't 16 and 1. So what's coming to me is 2 times 8 or 4 times 4. It doesn't matter which one you choose. If I choose 2 times 8, what I'm going to do is I'm going to circle it if it's prime, or if I can't break it down with any different numbers. So 2 I can't break down, I'm going to circle it. 8, I can get 2 times 4. I'm going to circle my 2. Break down 4, I can get 2 times 2. And then I circle it when I can't break it down anymore. So 16 in exponential form is 2 times 2 times 2 times 2, or 2 to the 1, 2, 3, 4th power. Let's try this with 24. I take 24 and branch it out. I could do 2 times 12. I could do 3 times 8. I could do 4 times 6. Whatever works for you. I'm going to do 3 times 8. So I can circle my 3. I can branch 8 again by 2 times 4 and break that down. So I have 2 times 2 times 2 times 3. So that's 2, 1, 2, 3 times 3. Exponential form. We're going to be practicing some of these in class. Thank you.